Hey,
What are you doing here?
we're here to look at your collection.
Ah, all right. Let's go look at it. The bar is live edge top and entirely built by myself and Timmy and Devin from the Bourbon Library Group. A shelf full of knickknacks that are either bourbon or beer related. A lot of inherited antique glasses from my dad. I have every empty Blanton bottle I ever drank because they're cool bottles and hard to get. And then just some other ones like Weller 12-year and full proof. Those some of the best bourbons we've ever had, right? Yeah, so just unusual bottles or ones that were fun to drink or hard to get. This is the main bourbon shelf, and it's just a collection of bourbons. There's actually a few bottles missing because we're taking them up north with us for vacation. A lot of bottles that we've collected over a period of time. A lot of them we bought to taste on the Bourbon Library podcast. This guy, right, came from the distillery. That little guy I got from directly from the distillery and visit with you.
Yeah, what do you think is your most meaningful bottles on this shelf?
Definitely the most meaningful is
You can
this
pull
guy.
them too.
So this is probably the cheapest bottle of bourbon I have, maybe next to like Evan Williams or JPS Brown. But it is signed by Al Young, who was a previous employee. At this point in time, he was the senior brand ambassador 2019 for Four Roses, and it's hand signed. So that bottle has some nice meaning to it.
Will you drink it?
No.
Never.
No, for two reasons. One, because it's cheap. Bourbon is not that great. But also because the signed full bottle as well. All along that shelf over there, right? All the Remus, 2XO, Booker's, Weller, the Boone County 1833, all the Knob Creek 15-year, Stag Junior, all those were bottles that were part of a nice sit-down conversation and sipping with people that enjoy bourbon with us. So there's a lot of good memories. The Three Boys bottles, right? The visits to Three Boys.
What do you think is your most expensive bottle that's here right now?
My most expensive bottle now. Whew. Probably the Remus Reserve that I have upstairs. Was around $120. I don't usually spend more than that, unless it's kind of on a whim to get Stag Junior.
What are some other special bottles we got over here?
Well, we got the Figgy Jam, right? That was a fun one from Christmas time this year. Looking for the label, but this Eagle Rare was a store pick. That was good. The Buffalo Trace bottle is a store pick. At one point, I was trying to collect the entire Buffalo Trace collection, so most of those were all Buffalo Trace bottles.
Is there an organizational system?
Not anymore. There used to be. I had all the really tall bottles, tall miscellaneous bottles on the top. Second shelf was all like Buffalo Trace. And then the next couple I had broken up kind of by distillery, but I've mixed them up since then. Just kind of moved stuff around a little bit.
What's your go-to bottle right now?
These guys, right? So I got Old Forester Old Fine Whiskey, which is a double wheated bourbon, and it's wonderful. The Knob Creek 12 is a perfect one to go to at any time. Larceny Barrel Proof, Old Ezra 7, and the Remus upstairs. Those are my go-tos right now. Pappy Van Winkle happens to be, let's see, what do we decide? 7th or 8th cousin, once removed or twice removed, I don't know, something.
So you're related to Pappy Van Winkle?
My mom's grandma.
Or to Julian Van Winkle?
My mom's grandma is a Van Winkle. Yeah.
So how many bottles a year do they send you?
Yeah, that hasn't happened yet. Still waiting. Although I really haven't asked. Maybe I should ask. I am 7th cousin, several times removed, about a bottle. The big bottle of Weller Special Reserve I got on one of my trips to Kentucky. I paid $40 for it, so that was special.
Just tell me, how'd you start collecting?
Yeah, well, that goes back to a story about an old boss of mine that decided to have a bourbon at the airport while we were waiting for our airplane. We had a glass of Jack Daniels on the rocks. And it reminded me how much I really enjoyed whiskey and bourbon in general. So I started grabbing a bottle or two, and then I think it was Maker's Mark and Jack Daniels I had originally. And then I went on a trip to Kentucky with another boss who was another bourbon guy, and we tried Basil Hayden and Blanton's there. And the Blanton's was amazing. So I started trying to track down Blanton's, and from there it just grew into, well, let's try this one, let's try that one. You boys bought a bottle of Old Forester original batch for Christmas that year, and it was really good. So then we started trying the other Whiskey Row Series ones and found them to be really good as well.
Why is it important to you to have a good whiskey collection?
So the best thing about bourbon, and every bottle on this shelf is open on purpose, right, is that anybody can have any bourbon they want to try. And some of the best times I've had in the last 5-6 years, right, has been tasting bourbon with friends and family and strangers even.
You've invited strangers over?
Well, sometimes strangers tag along with other people. I'm tired of talking. Get out of here.